Test one, one, two, three. You hear it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Yeah, you see levels on both sides? Okay, I'm still here, Zach. Don't worry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It was nice the weather warmed up. The week before and the week after I went were like below zero, well below zero daytime temperatures. I was there like 30. What are you shooting? Freestyle skiing. Moguls and then the aerials where they flip around. It's not bad. I mean the aerials they do at night, it's still pretty good light out, 1,000 ISO. It snowed, so it was nice. It wasn't just against the black sky. It added a little something. Yeah, it was the last stop before the Olympics. Why are the reporters in here? They're waiting for us at that. Like he's gonna say something in here. His phone's a joke.
All the way around.
Like, I will
All the way
rip your
around,
arm
just
off.
over to the other one.
All right, well then it's Como and then Melissa testifies. And then okay, you get us some sandwiches?
Yeah, he'll probably call on you more than me, so finds my questions objectionable. I Dean's tall one. It's a big boy podium. I was wondering what that was. He's so environmentally friendly.
It's very high tech.
Made in the USA too. Almost got him there.
We should dose it.
Sorry?
We should dose it.
Yeah. Full truth serum?
Well, it looks like it's all pushed back.
Albany makes him wait.
Yeah.
Yep, so if you can just,
Oh, look, the tape. Do it.
but we're down to tables, so if you wanna just there. Actually, we're going to put these up here. Yeah. Good. Thanks, Teresa. We write a little.
So you want us back?
Like this?
Back? Yeah, just a little, because he's gonna be right there and you're gonna be right there.
Oh, okay.
That's good?
And the malt box is working okay for you guys, right?
Yep.
Great. Thank you so much for your help.
I guess that's super cool. It's got me too.
Heads up.
I would like some cold.
Just want to say, just a moment up front. We're on a tight time frame, as everyone knows, going over to see the governor, and there will be an additional availability at the Red Room. So just want to keep this to the topic of our pre-K and after-school plan. The white paper that we published today, I think, makes very clear how quickly and effectively we can implement this plan. I want to thank the members of the working group. A number of them are here now. They have extraordinary experience in the area of early childhood education and after school, and they were tasked with coming up with a realistic, attainable absolutely ironclad plan to get this to work starting substantially September 2014. They have achieved that goal. They're now going to continue to work with us throughout the implementation. And just want to thank them for their extraordinary work as we start this historic effort. With that, we welcome your questions on this topic.
Mr. Mayor, the governor has said that he will, in essence, give the school districts what they need to achieve universal pre-kindergarten. I'm just curious, why lay down this today with the white paper, and why not work with the governor and come up with a compromise that everybody can live with that achieves the goal?
You know, I've praised the governor's leadership on early childhood education. I think it's incredibly important. I have worked with the governor since 1995 in a variety of capacities. I look forward to continuing to work with him. What I've made clear is that on behalf of the people of New York City, we need reliability in this funding. We need a 5-year plan to fund this effort. It has to be in every way, shape, or form insulated from the vagaries of the annual state budget process. We have a reliable way to do it, and a way that's very similar to the ways that New York City has funded major initiatives in the past. That's what we believe is necessary. We're certainly going to be in regular dialogue with the governor.
Mr. Mayor, you described the situation with the union contracts and pre-K as two ships passing in the night.
Mhm.
You also told Senator Martin that you wanted that the city's projected budget surplus, $2 billion, to be reserved for those settling those labor contracts. So if there hadn't been that situation with labor contracts, would we still need the tax on the high?
Well, that's obviously a very, very hypothetical question, because we do have a massive challenge in terms of the labor contracts. I just want to emphasize, never before in the history of New York City have all the labor contracts been open simultaneously. We can all imagine what the impact of settling all those contracts is going to be. So I'm saying if there never was a pre-K and after-school plan, if we did not focus on the needs of our kids, if we did not invest in our future, we would still have a huge challenge in terms of dealing with the labor issue and the fiscal challenges of the labor issue. We're going to meet that challenge one way or another. But at the same time, we believe there's a discrete and separate way to fund pre-K and after-school. That is by asking for the wealthiest among us to pay a little more so that we can sustain this effort. That's the only reason we are asking those who are wealthy to help us, so that we can make this major investment in pre-K and after school.
Could you characterize where you stand with the governor on talks to get this funding mechanism through? Obviously, you know where he stands publicly. You've had discussions with him. Could you characterize where those discussions?
They're very productive conversations. They always have been. Again, this is someone I've had the honor of working with for almost 20 years. So I hope people understand, when there's this depth of personal relationship, that we talk about a variety of issues all the time. Our two staffs talk together constantly. And, you know, we have fundamental agreement on a range of issues. We have some disagreements, too. That's absolutely normal. In fact, our relationship is much healthier than that between many previous governors and mayors. On this one, I'm doing what I think is the natural and appropriate thing, and I'm protecting the prerogatives of the people of New York City, because we need reliable long-term funding, and we have a mechanism to do it. We're simply asking for the right to get our own revenue from our own people.
Has this one disagreement affected that relationship?
No, not in the least.
The governor said last week he believes you just want to raise taxes, that it's not about pre-K, that no matter what it is, you come up with another reason to want to raise taxes on the rich. What do you make of that assessment?
I humbly disagree. This is about achieving this plan. And we've said, I mean, I want to note, this is 16 months into this process. Again, I don't know if anyone happened to be in the room at Albany on October 4th, 2012, when I announced this plan. This is a vision I've had of what's right for New York City and how we could go about doing it. So this is about the specific needs of our children. By the way, as I said in the hearing, the Common Core curriculum is the right direction for our future. How you address the Common Core curriculum is the big unknown, the big unanswered question in this city and this state. This is one of the ways to address it, to actually prepare our children properly, not just throw an incredibly challenging curriculum at them without preparation. So this is what we need to do for our city, and the tax is specifically to achieve this end.
And what about a suggestion this is a political position that sort of fits your political?
I addressed that in the testimony. This is something necessary to achieve our number one programmatic initiative. And I believe I'm going to work well with the governor and the legislature. I believe I'm going to work well with business and labor. I'm going to work with all the stakeholders on this and many other issues. So governing is about working with everyone, and I'm committed to it. But governing is also about setting clear goals. These goals happen to have been ratified by the people, and now we have to implement them.
Is there any scenario in which you would use surplus money for the pre-K program?
What does that mean?
Is there any scenario in which you would use
Again, what we've said very clearly is the reliable 5-year way to pay for pre-K and after schools with a tax on the wealthy. Meanwhile, we have a huge fiscal challenge, the parameters of which are still being worked through because it's going to depend on negotiations over 150 separate contracts. So that surplus, effectively speaking, is already going to be used necessarily to address the labor challenge. That's what I think has to be very clear in this whole debate. Mayor Bloomberg, with all due respect to him, as he was leaving office, said, "Oh, look at this wonderful budget I've left you." It wasn't wonderful because we have a profound fiscal challenge, one that we've literally never seen before. And part of what our budget director, Dean Foulahan, will tell you and other budget experts is when you're in uncharted territory, don't underestimate. So we look soberly at the challenge of 150 open labor contracts covering 300,000 workers. We don't take lightly what that means, and we believe that the money available at this moment that we can see is going to have to be used to address that challenge, and we don't even know the full magnitude of that challenge. Yes?
Last question, please. Mayor, what do you assess would be the impact of the Cuomo plan, which is $100 million in this fiscal year, and perhaps some share of a bond issue that would facilitate?
Again, I want to say as a frame that I truly believe in, I am absolutely appreciative that the governor is focusing on pre-K. I'm also very appreciative that he's focusing on technology in schools and equalizing technology in schools. Those are both very important examples of leadership. The money we need for our pre-K and after-school plan is the $530 million we projected from the beginning. That's consistent over 5 years. That specific amount of money is not accounted for in any plan but our own plan. The bond issue, which I strongly support, requires a vote of the people. We all know that sometimes happens, it sometimes doesn't, and then it takes a while for the resources to be allocated. So I think what we have here is very strong agreement on the goal of focusing on early childhood education, very strong agreement on the need to equalize our society through our schools, and the bond initiative for technology is another example of that, and a great working relationship. We're going to work together, but we are resolute about the rights of the people of New York City to achieve what we need for our children going forward, and in this case, simply asking for that classic home rule right to determine our own destiny and to create revenue from our own people. There's a bigger issue here. You heard it talked about in the hearing. What happened last week with Ulster County. Ulster County had a right to that, and we have a right to this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll get you the next time. Remember, 1 o'clock.